What's going on, guys? Anthony here with Mindset Fitness. This is going to be the counterpart to the video I just made on bulking. I recommend you watch that one first because I touched on some things in that one that I'm not going to go into in as much detail on this video. But if you aren't concerned with bulking at all, I'll try and make this enough. So cutting, how to do it, how to get started, what it is. Well, with cutting, I recommend a slow and a steady approach. You don't want to do a crash diet. You don't want to eat, next to no calories and do tons of cardio. If there's a coach or a friend or anyone that tells you that you need a crazy low amount of calories, dangerously low, and a ton of cardio, don't listen to them. Don't take advice from them. That's only going to end up damaging you and your metabolism in the long run. You want sustainable, healthy results because then you'll look good on the outside, you'll feel good on the inside, and I think that is enough to warrant a slower approach. So just like with bulking, where you wanted to shoot for a number above your total daily energy expenditure, with cutting you want to shoot for a number beneath that. I don't recommend just jumping straight into it. Just feel it out. See what works for you. You want to definitely keep track of your weight in the beginning. Like I said in the last video, don't get hung up on your weight. It's just a number. I've known people that, were cutting and looked better at lower numbers and they did at higher numbers. And I know people that were bulking and looked better at, higher numbers. But the point I'm trying to make is that the number doesn't matter. It's all about how you look. I just use weight as a tool to track my progress. If I hit a standstill and I also don't see any aesthetic results, I'll turn to the scale. So pretty much I want to say drop at first 200 calories from your total daily energy expenditure and just watch what happens. Just, maybe you underestimated or overestimated the speed of your metabolism. So, for the first couple days, give it a week, see what that number of calories does. If you lose 2 pounds in a week, maybe you shouldn't have made that big of a jump. On the other hand, if you lost no weight and you see absolutely no change, then drop it a little bit more. Just keep doing that. I would get to about a 500 calorie deficit, and at that point, I would start to adding cardio to create a larger caloric deficit because that's pretty much what it comes down to as far as cutting. Instead of dropping your calories any lower, it'll, one, enable you to eat the same amount of food you've been eating, and two, you won't have to change up your diet and recalculate everything. As far as macros go, just a quick disclaimer in case anyone's going to try and come at me for this. While I am a certified personal trainer with National Academy of Sports Medicine, I'm not a dietitian or a whatever the title for that is called, or a nutritionist. The nutritional advice I offer is advice from my personal experience and my research on the subject, the stuff I learned with NASM. I'm also undergoing my fitness nutrition specialist certification, but even still, I won't be a registered nutritionist or anything like that. So just take, what I say with a grain of salt. Okay. All right. So for cutting, if you want to eat a little bit more protein than you've been eating when you're bulking, that's fine. Maybe go for like a gram and a quarter per pound. Same thing for fat, 17 to 23% of your total daily calories, and the rest fill in carbs. Carbs not your enemy. They might just cause you to hold a little bit of water. Not the end of the world. So, slow and steady, no crash dieting. Eat less calories than you're expending. It's pretty simple. Bulking and cutting is when you really get down to the nitty gritty. It's a very basic concept. So, no crash dieting. Make sure you get a good amount of water. I recommend half a gallon a day. I buy just the gallons. I get a case of them, $5. So, and that, I finish that in a day, and that's it. That's all the water I need to drink. I don't need to worry about remembering how many bottles of water I drank or how many times I went to the fridge to fill up a cup. I'm going to do a separate video on if it fits your macros versus eating clean, the pros and cons of both. But while cutting, this is just my personal preference. I'm a hybrid of if it fits your macros and clean eating together. But I like clean eating when I'm cutting because I feel fuller. Clean food is less calorie dense. So I can, for the same amount of calories, I can eat more, feel fuller, same amount of calories. That being said, as long as it's identical in calorie and macronutrient profile, it doesn't matter. I understand though that people are not machines, so some people are inclined to cheat on their diet. Cheating as far as eating outside of your calorie and macro guidelines, not oh my god, I ate a Pop Tart, I cheated. Um, so that could help you to be a little more conscious of your diet. You won't be hungry as much. Also, a big mistake I see people doing in the gym, I don't know where it started or why, but as soon as they start cutting, they're like, all right, I'm going to switch to high reps and low weights and just do 30 reps of toning exercises. First and foremost, toning is not a thing. Whenever I have clients in the gym or online clients that come to me and they tell me they want to tone, I politely explain to them that they don't know what they're talking about. That there's only losing or gaining muscle and fat. So creating that toned appearance is simply from either building up muscle so that it shows through your skin more and you see more muscle definition, or losing fat so that the muscle you already have shows through your skin more. Another thing, abs. This might offend some people. I hope it doesn't. Just if you're pretty overweight and you know you're overweight, and I'm not making fun of anyone for being overweight, but if you have an excessive amount of abdominal fat, doing a ton of ab work, doing, tons of sit-ups, I'm not saying you're wasting your time. You're strengthening your core muscles, but let's put it this way. You can build up your abs as much as you want. If you have enough excess fat on top of that to the point where they don't show through, doing crunches won't help that. There is no such thing as spot reduction. When you lose weight from places all over your body. So just focus on losing weight and, don't worry about that stubborn back fat. That'll come off. You just have to get lean enough. So doing all this ab work when there's enough fat on top of it so it's not going to show through is, focus on losing the fat, and then your abs that you have built up will show through. On the flip side, if you don't have built up abs, you can get really, really skinny and really lean, but if your ab muscles aren't that built up, they're not going to show through your skin. So you'll look like, I don't want to name names, but, a popular Canadian pop singer or whatever. It'll look like that pretty much if the muscles aren't built up underneath. So it's a two-sided, it's a two-way street. So as in the rest of my videos, if there's something I didn't explain in this, or you're still unclear on some stuff, you can leave it in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Yeah, like I said, don't be afraid to comment. I've responded to tons of comments on Instagram and YouTube and emails. So, like I said, this is a very basic and vague overview just for people that don't know how to get started or where to go for cutting advice. This is for them. So yeah, Mindset Fitness, no slogans.